Hello and welcome to Newsblitz. I'm Grace Ike. Remember that your permanent voter card, also known as PVC, should be guarded jealously. Do not sell your vote. Do not sell your conscience. Do not be intimidated. Vote wisely. We begin with this breaking story. Members of the National Assembly have told President Muhammadu Buhari that going into the election without hard cash will put them at a disadvantage irrespective of the political party they belong to. The chairman of the House Committee on Special Ad Committee on Cashless Policy and Naira Swap, the leader of the House of Representatives, Al-Hassan Adodogwa, made this known after leading the committee on meeting with President Muhammadu Buhari at the presidential villa, Abuja, today. The meeting was also attended by the Governor of the Central Bank of Nigeria, Godwin Emefiele, Inspector General of Police, Usman Baba, representatives of the Ministry of Finance and Secretary to Government of the Federation, among others. Fielding questions from correspondents, they affirmed that each member of the House of Representatives is entitled to 70 million naira cash to pay polling agents and for other election running costs, saying that if they have no hard cash, they will be at disadvantage in the exercise. Al-Hassan Adodogwa explained that his committee was mandated by the House and by extension the National Assembly to interface with the President and the CBN on the implementation of the policy. He also said that even though most of what they wanted to discuss with the president had been taken care of by his broadcast earlier in the day, especially the extension of the validity of the old 200 naira note, there is a need to do more to ensure that his directive to the Apex Bank to make money available is carried out immediately. And to other stories, President Muhammadu Buhari has directed the Central Bank of Nigeria to release old 200 naira notes into circulation to coexist with 200, 500 and 1,000 naira bank notes for 60 days. He said the old 500 and 1,000 naira banknotes are no longer legal tender in Nigeria. The president, who made this known in a nationwide broadcast on Thursday, directed the CBN to allow the new notes available to all citizens. The president apologized to Nigerians over the difficulty experienced in the implementation of the Naira design policy.
During the extended phase of the deadline for currency swap, I listened to invaluable pieces of advice from well-meaning citizens and institutions across the nation. I similarly consulted widely with representatives of the state governors as well as the Council of State. Above all, as an administration that respects the rule of law, I have also noted that the subject matter is before the courts of our land and some pronouncements have been made. To further ease the supply pressures, particularly to our citizens, I have given approval to the CBN that the old 200 naira banknotes be released back into circulation and that it should also be allowed to circulate as legal tender with the new 200 naira, 500 naira and 1,000 naira banknotes for 60 days from February 10th, 2023 to April 10th, 2023, when the old 200 naira note ceases to be legal tender.
Meanwhile, a senior advocate of Nigeria, Ebun Olu Adeburuwa, has decried the announcement by President Muhammadu Buhari that only the old 200 naira banknote remains legal tender, while the old 500 and 1,000 naira notes are not, as a contempt of court. He said the president cannot overrule the Supreme Court of Nigeria. He also noted this in a statement on Thursday morning, faulting the president, saying he flouted the principle of the separation of powers. He said, and I quote, "There is separation of powers in our democratic system of government." Human rights lawyer Monday Obani says President Muhammadu Buhari has overruled the Supreme Court with his Thursday declaration that old 500 and 1,000 naira notes are no longer tender. Obani, who is the chairman of the Nigerian Bar Association section of Public Interest and Development, spoke on Thursday. He said the president's intervention should have been to allow the Apex Court resolve the matter and not cut short the process. He added that the president should have waited and obeyed the Supreme Court order. In the meantime, the Central Bank of Nigeria, CBN, has created a portal for the deposit of old naira note. The bank published a notification titled Redemption of Currency during a check on the bank's Apex website. The central bank said Nigerians can redeem their old 1,500 and 200 naira notes by completing an online form. The notification also provided a link to the portal to enable the masses deposit old notes in their possession. In the meantime, the executive director of the International Press Center, Lanre Arogudade, has expressed deep concerns about what he calls unintended consequences of the naira swap policy of the Central Bank of Nigeria and the lingering petrol crisis. He warned they may derail the entire election process if nothing is done urgently. Speaking at the event, the director of voter education and publicity at INEC, Ayodele Aluko, assured the commission was ready for the conduct of the election.
Their allegiance should be to the constitution of this country and the various laws that we have put together to ensure credible elections. It would be too bad if such laws are set aside on the basis of any form of expediency.
I would like to remind, the judiciary that justice is rooted in public confidence. Justice is rooted in public confidence. And a situation where the public is losing faith and trust in the judiciary, if political actors and stakeholders don't have confidence that for a constitutional democracy that provides judicial review as a way of seeking redress and justice, if there is no faith in the judiciary, then it spells doom for our democracy. And we want to call on, the judiciary and remind them of the role that they play, in advancing the cause of democracy.
Our chairman told you the other time that out of 14 activities that were listed, we have accomplished 12, remaining only 2. So the commission is ready. The question is, are all other stakeholders ready? That question is better answered by Nigeria as a country.
The Policy and Legal Advocacy Center, PLAG, has launched an app as part of its awareness and dissemination strategy of provisions of the Electoral Act ahead of the February 25th general election. Executive Director of PLAG, Clement Nwankwo, who highlighted some of the objectives of the initiative, stressed the need for citizens to study and work with the Electoral Act 2022 in order to reduce manipulation of the electoral process. The Act introduced a lot of changes that are expected to immensely impact the nation's democratic process, hence the need for it to be accessible to citizens. And with less than 10 days to the February 25th general election, a non-governmental organization, Connected Development Code, has called on Nigerian police to increase its manpower and work with local security personnel across the country to provide adequate security before, during and after the election. Leader of the organization, Hamza Lawal, who made this known at a press briefing in Abuja, said observation by the organization showed hike in political thuggery, banditry and kidnapping across Nigeria. Correspondent Margaret Obo has this report.
From our findings, a total number of 2,283 lives have been lost as a result of different incidents. And for us, the big question continues to arise that what are our security agencies doing and if they have control of this situation.
Political violence has been a major threat to the peaceful conduct of the forthcoming general election. According to Connected Development, security agencies must collaborate to ensure safety of all Nigerians, especially as they head to the polls come February 25th.
We want the Nigerian police, which is the apex law enforcement agency, to increase manpower and work with local security personnel, and maybe also explore this community policing initiative where they can work with locals to gather intelligence. We're also calling them to watch closely the southeast and the southwest, where we've seen political thuggery being used in a very high manner.
They expressed concern over the use of thugs and unknown gunmen by political actors to disrupt the electoral process.
The political thuggery, a very big issue. The uncertainty on election day when people come to election and you are not sure what to expect, if thugs are going to come and shoot up the whole place. All of these things will have effect in the kind of participation. And all of these things, more importantly, is creating poverty across the country. The expectation of this trend of and pattern of violence, is going to have effect on the voter turnout in 2023 election. People are relocating from their places of residence to their home states where they feel they will be safer, just in case things go not.
When voters are threatened during elections, one of the consequences is that citizens may refrain from voting and exercising their franchise. Margaret Ogbo, Silverberry News 24, Abuja.
Now, political parties and their candidates in Delta State have signed a peace accord to be of good behavior in the lead-up to the 2023 general elections. It was organized by the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC. Correspondent Kelvin Kelly report.
Violence is one of the factors that have militated against free and credible elections in Nigeria. To nip this in the bud, the Independent National Electoral Commission assembled the political parties and their candidates to make a commitment to play by the rules. In addition to what the peace accord is expected to usher in, INEC resident electoral commissioner in Delta State believes that beavers will also give a boost to the credibility of the 2023 general elections.
If you go there, God allows you to win. You can't go and people are waiting for you. But don't kill and men in order to win. Because one day, that person wants to kill and men and people in order to win. It's a cycle.
So having signed it, it means that anywhere they are and among their followers and those who believe in them, they are going to make sure that they plant the issue of peace in everybody's mind. Yes, when there is a pathway to war and a pathway to peace, they will choose the one that leads to peace.
Other peace-oriented organizations admonish political parties to shun vote buying.
The essence of election is to provide development, is to bring peace to the society. And as a peace advocate and as a peace organization, it is important that we need to work with INEC to ensure that the 2023 general election is peaceful.
So signing this peace accord can never be overemphasized. We believe that all stakeholders coming together agreeing that yes, we want to go into this election free and fair, devoid of rancor, is a welcome development.
My only concern is that year in, year out, we sign these peace accords, but nothing happens in the process. My prayer is that since there is beavers, we should learn that power belongs to God, and power is transient.
The signing of the peace accord is part of activities leading to the elections by the Independent National Electoral Commission. Calvin Kelly, Silverbird News 24, Asaba.
The resident electoral commissioner in Imo State, Professor Silva Uchenna-Agu, has said that the commission is ready to conduct the general election. The resident electoral commissioner made this known and said the commission will open the poll at 8:30 in the morning till 2:30 in the afternoon.
The poll shall open at 8:30 a.m. and end at 2:30 p.m. But if there is any eligible voter on the queue at 2:30 p.m., such shall be attended to before polls will be closed at that polling center. An eligible voter is expected to present his or her PVC for accreditation using the BVAS. The Independent National Electoral Commission in exercise of its powers under Section 40, Subsection 2 of the Electoral Act 2022, has allotted voters from overcrowded polling units to less congested polling units within the same location to promote a more pleasant and stress-free voting experience on election day.
As staying with politics, Nigeria's opposition coalition of United Political Parties, CUPP, has released video footage of the third attack on the home of its spokesperson Ikenga Ugochinyere by unknown gunmen on the 7th February 2023, less than a month after the second attack on 14th January, which claimed the lives of 4 people, including his uncle. In the video made available to Silverbird News 24, heavily armed men could be seen invading the house. The spokesperson for the Nigeria's opposition coalition of the United Political Parties, Mark Adebayo, disclosed this while briefing newsmen in the nation's capital.
We insist, it is our conclusion, that all attacks on Ikenga have been politically motivated. We insist that the attacks are because of his revolution of the Omuma magic, and we insist that the governor of Imo State, Obuso Dima, has questions to answer.
Moving on, the United States government has returned $954,000 allegedly stolen by the former governor of Bayelsa State, Alamisia, to the state government through the federal government. U.S. Ambassador to Nigeria, Mary Beth Leonard, announced the development at a press briefing on Thursday afternoon in the nation's capital. He said the official salary of the former governor during his tenure as a public servant from 1999 to his impeachment in 2005 did not match the said amount. President Buhari has immediately directed that the said sum be utilized in developing the healthcare of Bayelsa State. Agriculture and Rural Development Mahmoud Abubakar said there are compelling evidence that biofortification can be a key factor in addressing food hunger across the country. The minister made this known at the launch of the first national biofortification recipe book in the nation's capital. Stakeholders say with this initiative will reach the millions of homes and satisfy farmers' preferences across the country. You're watching Newsblitz, coming to you live from our studio in the nation's capital. We'll bring you more stories after this break. Stay with us. Moving on, the National Examinations Council, NECO, has announced the release of the result of the November-December 2022 Senior School Certificate Examination. Registrar of NECO, Professor Dan Tani Ibrahim, who made the announcement in Minna, Niger State on Thursday, said 59,124 candidates sat for the examination, with 31,316 males representing 52.96%, while 27,808 representing 47.03% were female. He added that the number of candidates who got 5 credits and above, including English language and mathematics, is 33,914, representing 57.3%. Stakeholders in the education sector are calling for more deliberate effort towards embedding transformative principles in musical content. They made the call in Abuja on the sideline of a school debate where they expressed concern over the negative effect some trending songs pose to nation building, especially among children. Our correspondent, Chukwemeka Okonji, has this report.
Propagating a consciousness among children towards both the negative and the positive effect of music and its lyrics is believed to be a crucial tool in shaping the orientation of the future generation. Stakeholders have taken upon the task to sensitize children through learning and debating on the importance of embedding the right messages in musical piece.
We want to build Africa again, because in a jiffy of instigation, Africans have been misled.
From lyrics of music, I see people act out. So subconsciously it directs them. So I think it's quite timely when we deliberately decide what lyrical content goes into our music to inform people.
You can be entertained and still be conscious about it. So I think it will be timely now, and it will be timely in 100 years from now.
It is expected that the exercise could only indicate success when these youngsters are beginning to understand the rationale in deciding what is good music for nation building.
Will communicate values for entertainment, education, and life.
I have deduced that music is not only a language and a culture, it's a means for people to express themselves. It has its benefits and also its disadvantages, but the benefits definitely trump the disadvantages by a milestone.
So if they listen to songs with bad lyrics, it tells them bad things, and if they listen to songs with good lyrics, it tells them good things, and it makes them better people. Listen to songs that, you know, motivate us, like things like The Land is Green.
Lyrics that you would listen to them in front of your parents and then they'd approve.
I think it's actually something that most of the musicians actually have to listen to. They need to know that what they are saying, is it helping our society or not.
Today I finally realized that music can be used for various things like teaching or trying to better a nation or a country in general.
Music is a universal language, and this event is a national call by Joyous Music Altruistic Mission for deliberate effort towards promoting healthy lyrical content capable of instilling unity and nation-building traits among children. Chukwuemeka Okonji, Silverbird News 24, Abuja.
You're watching Newsblitz. We'll bring you stories from the foreign scene after this break. Do stay with us. That was meant to ease fears about a toxic chemical spill in an Ohio town only heightened anger when the rail firm at the heart of the disaster failed to show up. Representatives of the Norfolk Southern Railway Company, whose train carrying the chemicals derailed 13 days ago, causing a huge fire, cited security concerns. After the derailment, emergency crews performed a controlled release of 5 rail cars that were at risk of exploding. Thick flames of black smoke towered over the town, East Palestine, but crews monitoring the air quality sought to reassure locals that it was going as planned. And to other stories, 2 miners who went missing after a mine collapse in Australia have died. Local media say Dylan Langridge and Trevor Davis were driving 125 meters underground inside the Dugald River mine in the area on Wednesday when the ground gave way. They fell 25 meters into the void along with their utility vehicle, a drill rig, and the drill rig operator. The drill rig operator managed to escape and raise the alarm before being treated for minor injuries. 1 person has been killed and 3 injured in a shooting at a shopping center in Texas, according to police. And 2 suspects are in custody, and 1 was tackled at the scene by an off-duty officer. Authorities are not looking for anyone else. The incident happened on Wednesday at the area, and it is located near a Walmart supermarket where 23 people were killed in a racist attack in 2019, one of the deadliest mass shootings in U.S. history. Sport is next after this break. The Flying Eagles rounded off their preparations for the 2023 Under-20 Africa Cup of Nations with a 6-1 hammering of Moroccan club Kaukab Athletic Under-23 on Wednesday night. The Athletic were a late replacement for Central African Republic, who pulled out of a friendly with the Flying Eagles. Meanwhile, the 7-time African champions will depart for Cairo, Egypt on Thursday. And Barcelona coach has described Marcus Rashford as one of the most dangerous strikers in Europe ahead of Thursday's Europa League play-off with Manchester United. Rashford is enjoying his most prolific season with 21 goals, including 13 in his last 15 games for United since returning from the World Cup in Qatar, where he scored 3 for England. And ahead of Thursday's first leg of their play-off tie in the camp, identified Rashford as one of the biggest threats to Barcelona's hopes of progressing to the knockout stage. And that's Newsblitz for today. Do remember that your permanent voter card, also known as PVC, should be guarded jealously. Do not sell your vote. Do not sell your conscience. Do not be intimidated. Vote wisely. Thank you for watching. I am Grace Ike. Good evening.